Drew McINTYRE. What's going on, man?
What's not going on? I've been in Europe the past week. I was in Budapest on Sunday. I flew back to Nashville, home for 22 hours, and now I'm in Brooklyn in my hotel room, as you can probably see by the bed in the background on the video here. And excited for this weekend.
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, Staten Island, New York City. So that looks like, really space-wise, a typical New York City apartment. So you're fitting right in.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised when I walked in. Like, my bag and myself are not fitting in this room great.
A typical New York story. So you're in town, Survivor Series this Sunday, Monday Night Raw at Barclays. And then in the following Monday at the brand new UBS Arena, Raw again, 3 shows in 8 days. How fun is New York City for you, Drew?
New York's the best. Like, the fans here, I say it all the time, and the most passionate, the most knowledgeable. This is, the mecca of wrestling. I can walk down the street in New York and I never get stopped more than, even in Scotland, I get stopped more here than I do in my home country, with people who know the WWE product, know who I am, and start telling me facts about my career that I've completely forgotten. And if they like something, they'll let you know live in attendance. If they don't like something, they'll let you know live in attendance, even if they're supposed to like it in theory. So I love the passion of the fans here.
So you mentioned right as we got on, you said what's not going on, right? I don't know if you're aware of this, but you have the most in-ring matches and the most wins of any WWE superstar in 2021 so far, up to this point.
I did not know that. That is good news.
See?
Wow, I'm going to remember that so I can start typing those facts.
You and I spoke over the summer, and I brought up the idea of a UK pay-per-view, and you were kind of saying how you've been pushing for that for a while now. Have we gotten any further with that?
I've still been pushing for it like crazy. I never shut up about it. Since we spoke, I didn't shut up about it on the UK tour 8 or 9 weeks ago. And I didn't shut up about it on the UK tour last week because I kept making as much noise as I possibly could. So I've not heard anything official from anybody, but as far as I'm concerned, I will not shut up. I'll drive everyone crazy until it actually happens. And then I'll probably want WrestleMania or something if it's not WrestleMania. But I'll be a little bit quieter if we can finally just get that significant UK pay-per-view. And the one we've been waiting for since SummerSlam 92.
Well, what I was going to say was next year is the 30th anniversary of SummerSlam 92. I think all wrestling fans know how big of a deal that match was. I remember watching it and renting it a lot on VHS, mainly because I was an Ultimate Warrior fan. And the idea of Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man blew my mind. As someone who grew up in the UK and that being kind of the first real big pay-per-view event in the UK, what do you remember about that in your childhood, SummerSlam 92 specifically, with Bulldog and Bret?
People giving me crap because I was a Bret Hart fan growing up, and the British Bulldog was the British guy. You're supposed to support the guy from where you're from, but I was such a Bret Hart fan, I was supporting Bret. So I remember the conflict of interest between myself and basically everybody else. And they got the last laugh when Bulldog won the match in the main event for the Intercontinental title. So I remember being pretty upset afterwards, but it was such an amazing spectacle and showed what the UK is truly capable of. Wembley Stadium, over 80,000 people going absolutely crazy from beginning of the show to the end of the show. A real, like, if you ever watched a soccer match, like that kind of atmosphere, which is absolutely electric. If you ever watched a big soccer match, just how wild and crazy those fans are. The wrestling fans are wild and crazy. If you mix the soccer vibe with the WWE fan vibe, the New York fan vibe, put it together, it's a wild electric atmosphere.
Speaking of the UK, you mentioned that you've been there twice over the last couple of weeks, but a tour that you did less than 2 months ago was actually your first time back home since COVID, right? What was that like for you to finally be back home?
Oh, it was amazing. I started off in England, where I've spent so many years working my way up the ranks, and some of the best fans in the world. I believe we went from Newcastle to Manchester, London, Cardiff. And the last show was in Glasgow in Scotland, where I went to university for years, where I traveled up to the old wrestling shop when I was a kid to buy my action figures. And 30 minutes from where I grew up in Ayr, my whole family and friends were there. My wife flew over to Scotland. I saw my family for the first time in 2 years. I kissed the ground as I came out of the airport, and then instantly regretted it because I remember that some people get drunk at night in Scotland and can't find bathrooms and perhaps use the ground, and then I'm down the ground kissing it. But I was so happy to be back home. I just didn't care at the time. And it was an amazing tour, amazing to see my family, and amazing to hear those fans just as crazy as I've always been. And then I got the luxury of going back right away last week. Within a month and a half of each other, I got 2 visits. So that was pretty cool.
It's been a while since you were on the Smackdown brand. And obviously, as we know, Survivor Series, bragging rights is at stake. What's the mindset like going into a match where now you're wearing blue, yet 4 weeks ago and for quite some time before that, you were in red? What's that mindset like to shift?
I mean, when I moved to SmackDown initially, I was traded. I felt like a bit of a traitor. Like I'd been on Raw for so many years, was a face of Raw, 2-time champion, become synonymous with Raw. You think of Drew McINTYRE, you think of Raw. So it felt kind of weird to get moved to SmackDown. And eventually when I thought about it, I realized this is where it all started. Everything's come full circle, and it didn't work out the first time, and I have a chance to make right what went wrong the first time around. And it comes to this match and bragging rights. There's not so much about that for me. Like, I've got to do it for SmackDown. I'm like, yeah, no, not really. I got to do it for Drew McINTYRE. Like, I'm trying to build up some steam, some momentum, rack up the wins. So I eventually get that opportunity against Roman in the Universal Championship, and a match against 5 of the top superstars on Raw is a chance to do that. If I'm one of the survivors on SmackDown, that's just building that momentum, building that equity, and earning my way to that title match. And that's what it's about for me. As much as it's a team match, it's kind of an individual match for everybody in there.
You had the top spot on Raw. Now you're trying to get the top spot on SmackDown. The last time we saw you two in the ring was last year, this very event. Tremendous match. Hopefully we're going to see it again, hopefully in front of a crowd this time. What's your opinion right now on Roman Reigns, the performer?
Well, he's killing it. I don't know how else I can put it. I mean, I don't have to like the way he gets most of his victories, including the one on myself with Survivor Series, his cousins getting involved in a low blow and a choke out. But, the character switch, the confidence, holding the title for as long as he's held it, you can't deny he's at the top of the heap right now in WWE, and he might just be as good as he says he is. But I just like the idea that his head just keeps inflating, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's when he's going to take his eye off the prize, going to get overconfident. He knows what I'm capable of these days. He saw it last year, and I'm just getting better and better. And I want to quietly start building up momentum over here. I don't want the match right away. I hear everybody saying Drew versus Roman. I want to keep building up that momentum till people say, oh my goodness, please give us that match. And Roman's thinking, oh my goodness, that guy's coming for me. What the hell am I going to do?
Once the draft happened, I think the obvious was, okay, Drew's going to challenge Roman. And I think as fans, the more you hold it off, the more we want it, up until a certain point, obviously. So as a fan, I like that idea. Let's hope that it sticks that way. Shifting gears a little bit, NXT 2.0 just relaunched. You were part of NXT. The NXT that you were part of, completely different than what the NXT is right now. If you had any advice for any of the performers down in the Performance Center and NXT 2.0 specifically, what would you say, knowing what you know about being the chosen one and then getting released, going to NXT, coming to the main card, becoming champion? What advice would you give to them?
Be patient. Sometimes you feel like you want it all right now, or you deserve it all right now, or you're getting a little run that kind of fizzles out and you kind of have to start from scratch and look at things again. Realistically, we're 52 weeks a year, no reruns, no off season. There's going to be ups and downs, there's peaks and valleys. I've been in the highest of peaks and the lowest of valleys. And at times I've kind of acted out and hurt myself in the process. And I see some people out there acting out like on social media, which I didn't really have at the time to act out on, and, acting like they deserve this big push and whatever. And trust me, no head of a company is ever going to look at Twitter and go, that person complaining that they're pushed, that's right, we should totally push them now. They're not just showing us we can't trust them at top level by doing stuff like this. So be patient, don't just trust the process, trust yourself, just keep working as hard as you can in all areas of your game, improving where you can. They get the best teachers down there. If you can't learn a bunch of stuff from Shawn Michaels, you can't learn from anybody. When I was there, I spent as much time as I could with Shawn, learned a whole bunch. Still learn whenever I get the chance to talk to him. And if you can't make it with guys like Shawn Michaels around you and the trainers they've got down there, you aren't going to make it. And trust me, once you get to Raw or SmackDown, it starts all over again. But it's a lot more fast-paced. It's a lot more changing. You have to learn that patience. You have to learn to go with the flow and adapt no matter what situation and environment you're in.
I just got engaged less than 2 months ago. All right.
Congratulations.
What is the thank you? What is the biggest bit of
advice you can give to me for the wedding planning process?
Leave it to her. That's what I did. The way I look at it is it's mostly for her, it's mostly for the bride. So like let her call the shots, and if she asks you your opinion, give her your opinion, even if you're thinking to yourself you're going to choose what you want anyway, or I'd rather you choose what you want because you've got more taste than me anyway. Just go along with it and go that one, and then watch the reaction. That one, oh, that one, yes, that one, and just play along, even if you know they're going to pick what they want anyway. It's their day, so just make them happy on that day.
That's it.
It's been a long-term storyline with us, 7 years, and finally I'm going to get a payoff. Or actually, everyone else is going to get a payoff because weddings are expensive. You know that. This is not fun doing a finances so far.
Yeah, they're expensive.
But one more time,
it's a day you'll never forget. Like my wedding day is one of my favorite days ever. Just having everybody close to us, friends and family there. And when you forget about how much it costs when you're actually there and you see it all materialize, you remember, money's money, but these memories last forever.
And our guest list is
starting at 200, so we're gonna have to kind of move some things around from there. But I'm Latin from New York City. I have like 155 cousins. It's a thing. It's.
Oh yeah, I didn't have remotely close to that.
Cousins, by the way. My fiance still
trying to figure out who's blood relative and who's not. It's one of those gimmicks, but I digress.
Gender's the same. Like Indian culture, like everybody's a cousin. I'm pretty sure he has about 5,000 cousins that I've met.
One more time, Survivor Series this Sunday on the Peacock Network. Monday Night Raw the following night at Barclays Center, and then the following Monday, 3 shows in 8 days at the brand new UBS Arena. Drew McINTYRE, one more time, thank you. And in less than 5 words, what can we expect from you this Sunday at Survivor Series?
Everyone says my foot in everyone's face. That was 5 words. That worked.
Hey, listen, I figured you'd go
3, 2, 1 Claymore, and that would be it.
That's way better. So what I meant to say was 3, 2, 1 Claymore.